Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT Review for August 29th, 2018. I'm going to go on the record as saying this. Anyone that says that if you're a person who loves independent wrestling, that you're a joke or a loser, I have one thing to say. Fuck you. That's all I have to say. Independent wrestling or independent wrestlers that have came up from the ranks of independent wrestling, such as going through independent circuits of like local areas in the cities of like California and other states of the U.S., and coming up and making their name on their own, not being developed within a company for a political agenda or anything of that kind of nature, and just build their own personality, their own gimmick, who they are and what they are. They're a fucking outstanding performer. They're a guy that reaches for that brass ring that Vince McMahon talked about back in 2014 on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast on the WWE Network. Bottom line tonight, watching NXT, there was some young talent being used, and then there was the main event. And then there was storylines being developed. Tonight's main event was supposed to be advertised with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong facing Pete Dunne and Ricochet. That was actually changed in the middle of the match. Well, before the bell rang, where Adam Cole grew a set of balls and got in the ring with the new NXT North American Champion. You take the title away from, it doesn't make the man of Adam Cole. Adam Cole is still Adam Cole. He's still the best. He's still, in my eyes, a champion, whether he has the belt or not. And this tag team matchup, you want to talk about tag team wrestling? You want to talk about real tag team wrestling? This is it. When they start having breakdowns in the middle of the matches where everybody starts getting involved and we have a hyper gear type of matchup going like we used to see even before independent wrestling became super popular like it is today, because WWE's creative minds are so lame and one-dimensional, nobody gives a shit. But that's what WWE used to do. They used to have matches, like, for example, you'd have Rock and Mankind, when they were Rock and Sock Connection with the tag team titles, going even against The Undertaker and The Big Show. You would eventually see a breakdown of everybody getting involved in the match, beating the shit out of each other, two other guys going on the outside of the ring, and the two guys in the middle of the ring ending the match. That is what we need to see in tag team wrestling. Not just two guys on the side of the apron while the other two guys in the middle of the ring do their thing. We need to see chaos. We need to see things that go all over the place sometimes. And that's what we got tonight with this main event tag team match. We didn't get that with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre this week. None of the tag team matches at all break down in that kind of sense. And that is one thing that tag team wrestling is missing. Well, that is one of the elements that's missing in tag team wrestling. So, that's all I have to say on that. Excellent main event. 4 out of 5 stars. Good match overall. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong pick up the victory, hitting the last shot on Pete Dunne in the middle of the ring, and then the Undisputed Era had their way with Ricochet at the end. War Raiders came about. They were chasing the tag team champions, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, because they're in the hunt for those tag team titles. My one question is, what is going on with Bobby Fish? Has he recovered from his injury, or is he still recuperating from it? I keep seeing him backstage. He doesn't look like he has a knee brace or a thing to hold him up, a crutch, nothing of that kind of nature. So I'm starting to wonder, is he injured, or are they just keeping him out of the loop and just having him show up on the actual backstage stuff? I'm not quite sure yet, and it's kind of concerning me a little bit, but there's probably a reason behind it. Johnny Gargano kicked off the show, though, with a crutch. Fortunately, he did not injure his knee. I think they could have played off of that. Kept Johnny Gargano off screen for a while. He suffered a big loss. A loss that you got to feel sorry for him. He pushed, he wanted the championship, and he did tactical things that Tommaso Ciampa did to him. And he wanted to win that title, and with all that anger, took away his win of beating Tommaso Ciampa. Truth of the matter is, they should have went to a different route with Johnny Gargano in this situation. Now, granted, at the end of this segment, we did get a matchup that we're all looking forward to. And if you're not looking forward to this matchup for next week, check your fucking pulse. You're an idiot. Or you're dead. One of the two. Not that it matters to me, so whatever. But, point being, Johnny Gargano was interrupted by Velveteen Dream. And Velveteen Dream went on to state how he feels that Johnny Gargano needs to stop feeling sorry for himself and dwelling everything on himself and blah, 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 blah. But more importantly, focus more on the fact of how the world was mesmerized by NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. More importantly, his match with EC3, because he's a self-centered prick, which is what he's supposed to play on screen. He's doing an outstanding job on that. At that point, he triggered Johnny Gargano, which initiated this matchup by William Regal. And that was Velveteen Dream calling Johnny Gargano Johnny Failure. Johnny Gargano did not take very kind to this, so he kind of got a little edgy and wanted to haul off and hit him in the face with the crutch, because he said his doctor said it was just something to help him out so he could stay off his knee, but he's not exactly full-on injured to the point where he can't do anything. So that was pretty much the situation on that. William Regal did come out before Velveteen Dream came out and announced that he wanted to get an answer about Johnny Gargano's involvement with Aleister Black's attack the couple of nights before the NXT TakeOver show. Well, of course, Johnny Gargano, being Johnny Gargano, being the face, wouldn't do something like that. And he looked at William Regal and says, do I look like I would be a person that would do that? You know me personally, and if you don't believe me, look into my eyes and you'll see my answer. So apparently William Regal accepted his answer as no, he would not be a suspect to such a ruthless attack like what happened to Aleister Black. After that segment, and it was an announcement made by announcement that Johnny Gargano and Velveteen Dream was going to have a match next week. We get a matchup with Dakota Kai and Elisa. And this matchup ended up with Dakota Kai picking up a victory in a decent, okay match overall. Then we lead to another segment, which was Nikki Cross. This was the thing that stood out to me the most on this show. Boy, is this bitch fucking crazy. She was funny, off the wall crazy. She sounded like she had schizophrenia up the wazoo, could hear things in her head that weren't really there, hallucinations out the ass. She's spinning around in a circle in a chair being asked what does she know of anything that happened to Aleister Black. She was on the top of the Full Sail Arena at the time on the roof. She might have seen something, and she said, I saw everything. And he goes, what did you see? And she starts spinning around some more, and then she goes, you hear the phone ringing? And William Regal's looking at her and going, no. She goes, let's answer the phone. She answers the phone and she goes, hello? And she's like acting as if she's talking to somebody, and she's really not, of course. I would hope she's acting this out, and if she is, she's doing a fucking funny-ass job of it. She rolls on the desk, acting like a complete buffoon. William Regal calls Alicia, what's her name? I forgot it. Bianca Belair, excuse me. Bianca Belair comes in. She goes, am I getting my NXT Women's Championship match opportunity? And Nikki Cross goes, ooh, I want to play too. Hey, Bianca, you want to play? I want to play. And she's looking at it like, what the whole thing was fucking bizarre. Like, crazier than crazy. The craziest thing is she's crazier now than she was before all this. So she's acting really bizarre, in my opinion. But after a while, she goes ahead and she spins around in her chair one last time, looks at William Regal and says, any more questions? And he goes, yeah, I actually have a few more. And then they get off they cut out and fade away to another segment. That was downright fucking horrendously funny. I couldn't believe how fucking hilarious that was. But downright ridiculous. Lars Sullivan returned. He actually beat the shit out of EC3. He was supposed to have a match with Raul Mendoza. He did not. He got attacked. And that's because EC3 made a comment about Lars Sullivan before last week during the post-show interview that he had from his matchup. So that is definitely going to lead to these two guys going at it at the NXT TakeOver Los Angeles show. I definitely see that happening. I see a build-up between these two and them having a match. And I think that would be good for EC3. I think EC3 needs to pick up the victory and beat Lars Sullivan. But Lars Sullivan comes out, beats the crap out of Raul Mendoza. There's really no match. It's just a squash beatdown, and that's about it. The last thing that we get to see besides anything else is Cliff Lee. He has a matchup with another in-ring talent. He looks pretty good. I mean, for a guy his size, he does a pretty good job on some of the moves, such as a Hurricanrana he performed in this matchup. And he was very stiff in the ring. He actually hit his opponent pretty hard enough where I think he was bleeding from the mouth. So, great shot. Way to be a little bit stiff in there and make it look a little bit more authentic and realistic as possible. So, I really enjoyed this match as well. I mean, it wasn't top-tier wrestling at its finest, but it was still good nonetheless. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say on the show. I did like the storyline build up a little bit with Aleister Black's injury. They're going in an investigation, looking into suspects and people who they think might have been the person to attack Aleister Black from behind. It's going to be interesting finding out who really is the person that did this. I think it's going to be a surprise. I don't think it's going to be anybody that expects it to be. and it's definitely going to be fun to watch unfold. And I think that this is going to happen all the way up to WrestleMania, leading up to the WrestleMania event for the NXT Takeover show wherever in New Jersey or Brooklyn or whatever the fuck they're doing this. But yeah, I think that it's going to lead up to like probably after the Royal Rumble, and they're going to find out finally who really did the attack on Aleister Black. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the show. Decent show. Good little bit of storyline build towards the next NXT TakeOver show. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave any comments and opinions down below about the show. If you have anything to say, please inform me of it. And also hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and have a great night. Bye.